Okay, right. So the next topic in SQL part here. So transaction control language and shortcut we called as TCL. Shortcut we called as what now? TCL. So basically, you are going to observe guys here the TCL language commands. How we can go to use it means okay. So whatever we are performing, like DDL operations or DML operations, whatever we perform. So those operations, every operation we called as a one transaction. Okay. So a transaction is nothing but okay. A transaction is nothing but to perform some operation to perform some operation okay over database, like we can say for example like DDL operations. Okay, come on, DML operations. So these are being called as guys here. Okay, so these operations, whatever we said, DDL and DML, these operations we are going to be performing over databases. Okay, to do some kind of operations on database tables. Okay, now, right. But here, the thing is what now? These DDL and DML operations are, or these transactions are, okay, how the databases are controlling, how your databases are control these transactions over your table data. Okay, now, so how we can go to controlling these operations means by using of okay to control okay to control DDL and DML operations. Operations means commands. Okay, operations. Okay, then we use then we then we need what now? TCL language commands. TCL language commands. Okay, and those are the three was there. One is commit, and one is we have a rollback. Okay, and one is we called as your save point. So these are the three commands we have it guys here when we want to controlling our DDL and DML operations over database. So there we are using commit, rollback, and save point. Okay, now, so these commands we are going to be using to control your transactions which you performed on databases. Okay, now let me see the commit operation or commit command, how it was controlling your DDL and DML operations, and what is your rollback, and where you want to create a save point and what is save point. Okay, now let you see one by one we will discuss guys. So commit is nothing but simply we can say guys here. So is used this command is used to make a transaction is permanent. To make a transaction is permanent. So whenever you want to make it your transaction successfully, okay, if you want to execute your transaction successfully or permanently, if your transaction should be go for that, okay, so there we required here commit operation we are using. Okay, now commit operation we are using to making transaction permanent purpose. Okay, so generally what it was happening here, observe in your commit transaction only, there are two types of transactions are there. One is called as a implicit commit transactions. Okay, now? And the second one is called as here explicit commit transactions. Explicit commit transactions. So here, what is the mean by implicit and what is the mean by explicit means? Implicit is nothing but guys, simply we can say system committed. That means implicit transactions, whatever it was, those transactions are committed by system. Those transactions are committed by system. Okay, now so that means here implicit commit transactions completely take over by, or it was a responsibility by your system, and system is the responsibility, okay, person to handle your implicit commit transactions. Okay, now so that's why these transactions simply what we called, okay, these transactions are committed by, by the system by default. Okay, by the system by default. So in these transactions we don't have it any kind of what we can say user interference is not required in these transactions. And even though user is not involved, or programmer is not involved in these transactions, because these transactions are completely handling by your system. Okay, now for example, which kind of transactions are comes here? Okay, implicit means examples of ddl commands. So all DDL commands are committed by system by default. Okay, so whenever user is performing DML operations on your database, so automatically those operations are internally committed by system. Okay, now so that is implicit commit transaction. That's why when you create your table or create any object, then we cannot roll back. So why we cannot roll back means your create command is automatically committed by system. Committed means what now? Permanently executed. Commit means what now? Permanently executed. That's why once you create, once you alter, once you rename, once you truncate, once you drop, these all commands are, okay, permanently executed by system. Permanently executed by system. Okay, now so that's why these are called as the implicit commit transactions we call. And these implicit commit transaction, okay, in this transaction user involvement will be not there. That means user interference is not needed in these transactions, because these transactions are committed by your system. But where the user have to go and control the transactions means, that is called the explicit commit transactions we call. Basically what happened, these transactions are are committed by user, as per their requirement. Okay, as per their requirement basis. Okay, as per the requirement basis, the user has to commit your transactions. Okay, now user has to commit your transactions. Okay, and very important thing is what now, what are the examples of user committed transactions? What are the examples of user committed transaction means? User committed transactions are called as a DML operations or DML commands. DML operations or DML commands, because generally what it was happen guys here, when user is going to be perform insert operation or update operation or delete operation, okay, generally those operations are not permanently executed on database. Suppose whatever you inserted, that inserted data temporarily inserted, temporarily updated, temporarily deleted. So that's why what happened here. By default, DML operations are not committed. So that's why when user is performing this operation, and user itself only he want to commit this operation as per user requirement, because in this DML operations your system will not interfere in this DML commands. Okay, so DDL commands only take over and taking by system, but DML commands is completely user handover, and user has to manage these commands on your table data. Okay, for example, can you remember in my early classes, that means introduction of your Oracle, at that point of time we discussed one diagram and we showed one diagram here. So I hope that all of you remember this diagram. Can you remember this diagram, guys? Can you remember this diagram, guys? Say yes or no. Say yes or no. Okay, right. So in this diagram, what we said, suppose user has to insert some data. He want to insert some data. So that newly inserted data, first it will be storing under temporary memory, that is called instance memory. In that it will be stored. Okay, now this, that means whatever you inserted information is storing under instance memory. So instance memory means, this instance memory, is it a permanent storage or temporary storage? Yes, it is temporary storage, right? It is temporary storage. But what is said, whenever you want to store this inserted data into permanent memory, what we want to do? Come on, guys. What we said, if I want to store, if I want to store this data, okay, temporary memory data, if I want to store into databases, if I want to move data, want to move. So what I require to use, can you remember? Can you remember, guys, what I said in the early classes? What we required, I said, come on. Yeah, we required what now? Commit command. So that means whatever the user is inserted, first of all, every inserting data is storing under temporary memory. That means your insert operation is not permanently executed. This operation is temporarily executed, and the temporarily executed data storing under instance memory, temporary memory. So, but this information, when I want to store into databases, compulsory, there I need to use a commit statement. Commit means what now we said? Commit is nothing but to making your transaction is permanent. That means whatever the instance memory data was there, the data successfully we are transferring or moving into database memory. And once your data successfully moved into database memory, then only we can say our data permanently saved. Then only we can say our data permanently saved. Yes or no? Come on, guys. Yes or no? Okay, right. So now let me see. Let me see. For example, same thing practically we can go for it. Same thing practically we can go for it. Observe. First, I just open my database. I'm connecting here. Suppose I'm creating one table. Carefully observe. The table name is branch, B code, branch name, and the branch location. You know? Right. So okay, right. So now this is okay. So we are creating one table. But here, when you creating a table purpose, we are using DDL command, right? We are using DDL command. But what we said, DDL commands are internally committed by system. DDL commands are internally committed by system. So that's why DDL commands are automatically permanently executed by system. Okay, so now once you created your table, this table permanently created, and this table permanently created means this table where it will be storing your table instance memory or directly database memory. Permanently means where it was storing your table. Yes, in database memory. So directly your table is created under database. Are you catching my point now? What I'm telling, once you create a table, the table directly creating under database, not in instance memory. So why sir create command directly create a table under database means, okay, means internally that command is committed by system. Internally that command is committed by system. That's why your table directly created under databases. Okay, now the point understand now. That's why your table directly created under database, because immediately committed. So that means once I executed this query, then immediately already committed by system. So that's why that database table, if you want to see, then you are using tab. So tab means what I said, the syntax, whenever you want to see the list of tables in your database memory, whenever you want to see the list of tables in your database memory, so there we are using this tab. So there we are using this tab. When I'm using tab, so what happened in my database, how many tables are there, that each and every table is going to be storing directly in database. And now here whatever we created, the branch table is also successfully created, and this table was storing under database memory successfully, right? Now okay, fine. Now what I want to do, okay, this is my table is created, and when I call this table, this table is showing empty because there is no data, okay. Now let you see on this empty table data. Now I am insert into branch, sending values. So branch code 1021, branch name is SBI, branch location is HYD. Now I was inserted this data. But this inserted query, whatever we done through this inserted query, through whatever the data we are sending, now this data, where it is now guys here, this data directly storing under databases, or first it will store under instance. Yes, first it will storing under instance memory. First it will be storing under instance memory. Okay, so that's why what it was happen when I'm calling my table, select a star from branch. Okay, so calling my table. So this table is showing whatever the data. This data from where it is showing means this data not from database. This data showing from instance memory. This data showing from instance memory, right? Okay, so now I'm not committed. So I am not committed. So without a commit, okay, you just close your connectivity. I just close my connectivity. Right? Okay, after closing your Oracle server connectivity, again I just reopen, that means reconnected I am. So again I'm reconnecting with my usernames. Okay, right. But when I see my database tables and select a star from tab, let you see my table is there, right? Your table is there. Why your table is there? Why your table is there means your table is permanently stored. Why your table is there means your table is storing under database, because at the time of creating this table, your system is committed internally. Your system is committed internally. That's why your table is showing us. Okay now, but now this table, when I'm calling now, select star from, the table name is what now, branch. When I'm calling now, what it was happen, you can see now my data was there or not there. Come on, guys. My data was there or not there in this table? My data is there means no. Data is not there in the table. Why, sir, data is not there in the table? I already inserted my data, but still it was showing that no information in my table. Why? Yes. Why? Because your data is storing under instance memory. Your data is storing under instance memory, and we are not committed. Yes, yes, data is not committed. So when data is not committed, we already know when you didn't commit your data means still your data where it is here, instance memory only. Still your data where it is here, instance memory only. So that is the reason what happened. So are you inserting, but inserting data storing under instance memory? Okay, and we are not committed means your data is not transferring into database. Your data is not transferring into database. Your data still it was having in the temporary location. At this point of time, when I disconnecting from the Oracle, then this temporary data is successfully, or the temporary data is successfully destroyed. Okay, now that's why your database table is showing as what now? Empty. That's why your database table is showing what now? Empty. Okay, now. So because of not committed here, data is not moved into database, right? So that's why the what people saying DML operations or DML commands are called as a explicit committed transactions we called. What we called here explicit committed transactions we called. Understand now? Because of reason these commands are committed by explicit means what now? User has to commit. So that means until unless user has to commit this transaction or commit these transactions, then these are temporarily performed. Until unless the user has to commit your DML operations or DML commands, then only these are permanently stored or permanently updated, permanently deleted. Otherwise, temporarily storing, temporarily updating, temporarily deleting. So that's why these are called as a explicit. Explicit means user. Commit means permanent. Transaction means user has to commit. That means user has to make it as a permanent transactions. Okay, so that is called explicit. So this is what it was having. But the same thing, can you see now? Okay, my table is not having any data. Let you see, I'm inserting insert into branch, sending values 1021 SPI HOID I'm passing now. Now I just inserted. But what we said, inserted data first storing under instance memory, right? So now as per my requirement, I feel like this, as per my requirement, this data I want to store permanently. This data I want to store permanently. Then what I want to use? Come on guys. What I want to use to store this data permanent purpose? Explicitly means user what you want to do, what you want to do to store this data permanently. Yes, user has to do commit. Now I'm going to commit it. I'm just committed. Yes, commit is success. After committed, see, I inserted, after inserted user is committed. And now tell me now where it is your data after committed. Your data is instance or database? Yes, in database. In database. Database means permanent storage, no? Yes, database is nothing but permanent storage. Fine, fine. Let you come out. Let you come out. Now I'm just closing now. I'm just closing now. Okay, I'm just closing now. Okay, now I just close. And again, I want to reopen. Okay, now as usual, your table is there because permanently stored your table. So your table is there in the database. And now I just call here the branch table, branch. And now tell me, when I go to open this table, now we have a data. Now data is available. Yes. So now the data is available. So that means whatever the data is showing here, this data is showing from instance memory or database memory. Yes. So that means this is what we call as a explicit commit transactions we call. Explicit commit transactions we call. So like this in the same pattern, if you want to do update, so update branch set branch location is equals to, suppose I'm passing here Kerala, where branch code where branch code is equals to 1021. So I done updation. So when you done updation, this is temporarily updated or permanently updated? Come on, guys. This updation temporary or permanent? Okay, temporarily. Why it is a temporarily? Because not committed. Okay, and now I'm making commit. When I make it commit, then whatever the data I'm calling now, okay, the branch table. Now this data permanent updation. Yes, it's a permanent updation, right? Okay. Now next operation is delete. So delete from branch. Okay, branch code, where branch code is equals to 1021, I deleted. So now whatever the data deleted from database memory, this data permanently deleted or temporarily deleted? Temporarily deleted. Temporarily deleted means this data deleting from database, and where it will be storing? Deleting from database and storing under? Yes, storing under instance memory. Storing under instance memory. So data deleted from database and storing under instance memory. Why? Because this data is not permanently deleted. This is temporarily deleted. Okay. Now, so now we can see when you come back here. Now, after delete, when I'm calling my table showing no rows. In my database table showing no rows because we deleted, but this deleted data temporarily deleted. So now we can see I'm not committed here. Without commit, I'm just close this one. So now my table is showing no rows, and now I'm not commit, just closing, my disconnecting from Oracle. Okay, successfully disconnected. Again, if I want to go to open it, Now tell me. Now data was there or not there in my table? Data is there or not there in my table? Come on, guess it. Data is there. So data is there. So why it is there, guys? Why it is there? I was deleted now. Why it was there? I was deleted now. Yes, deleted but not permanent. Deleted but not permanent. That's why again the data is written back to your database memory. Okay, now, but now I just go for this. So delete from the table is branch where B code is equals to 1021. So server is not taking my response, my request. Okay. So guys, 5 minutes waste. Okay, 5 minutes wait, all of you, because maybe the server is not taking my request. So my request is not taking here. Let me wait, guys. Here, 5 minutes wait. Okay. Let wait all of you 5 minutes. Some problem, guys, maybe. So okay, shall we go for tomorrow? Shall we go for tomorrow now? Yeah, okay, guys. So maybe I want to go for reset my server. Okay, I want to reinstallation or else. Okay, right. So tomorrow we will continue, guys. Okay, right. Thank you.